is my pleasure now to welcome our next guest speaker. His name is Phil Blows, and Phil Blows works with AQRU. So I'll just give you a brief background. Phil Blows is the co-founder of AQRU Plc, UK listed company that provides a platform for retail institutional investors to earn a yield on their digital assets. An expert in both traditional and decentralised finance, Phil's goal is to bridge the two, creating a more efficient, fair, innovative and financial system. So it is my pleasure to invite Phil onto the stage, and the proposed title for today is Crypto, You're Doing It Wrong. So I'd like to hear how we do it right today, how to use, to define and enhance your returns. Thank you, Phil.
That is a tough act to follow. Maybe just before I kick off, a question for you to make sure everyone is paying attention. So this year, what's going to be the big performer? Who thinks Bitcoin is going to outperform Ethereum? Can I have a show of hands? 2. Wow. Wow. Okay. Well, so have I got a clicker as well? Excuse me? The previous guests will. And finally, second question for the audience: who thinks Ethereum is going to be higher at the end of the year than it is now? Come on! I'm not surprised crypto's not at its all-time highs. Okay, well, you're not alone. Oh, there you go. So yeah, at the moment what we're seeing is a huge inflow of institutional money into the crypto space. And at the moment, looking at hedge funds, we're expecting 7% of their assets, or just over $300 billion, to come into crypto in the next 5 years. So hopefully those of you had your hand up saying, Ethereum is going to be high at the end of the year, you're in good company. You've got a lot of money backing you up as well. Why, though, are retail investors underperforming institutions so much? And that's the title of what I want to talk about today, which is really around what a lot of the key mistakes people are making currently in crypto. So, in summary, they don't have robust security controls, and we'll come on to that. They pay very, very high fees. This is something that we are passionate about getting down. And crucially, the majority of investors in cryptocurrency don't earn interest on their assets. And given the levels of interest that you can earn, that is a massive drag on the overall returns of the crypto that you own. Anyone admit to being hacked? No one. Oh, one. Yeah, sad, incredibly sad, but again, you're not alone. We had the biggest hack ever in crypto last year, which we saw the Poly network get 600 million stolen, and some of it was returned. But this is a problem that's not getting solved. It's getting worse as more people engage in decentralized finance themselves with unsecured wallets and things like that. And that really is a big thing that people need to pay better attention on, is how they secure their assets. And what most institutions do, they use companies like Fireblocks, which have a $30 million insurance policy on their wallets, which is massive. And obviously there's consensus as well. So if someone was to be able, so if when you're withdrawing assets, you have to have someone else's approval as well as your own, instantly that stops a lot of the problems that we see about people accessing your wallet. And finally, it's around so many people put assets on exchanges which haven't been audited, which don't have a track record, or these sorts of things, and just don't do their homework. The whole idea of aping into things, you can get great returns if you're quick to get into some coins, but at the same time, you're really putting yourself at risk. Fees. Buying crypto with your credit card is madness. It costs up to 7% to do this. And we still see huge amounts of transactions going through on credit cards. And not only are you paying huge processing costs, but often what you're also finding is that the rate that you're getting on that crypto, on that Bitcoin, is nowhere near the market rate. So I'd encourage you to do your research, look at bank deposits if you are buying these things, and as opposed to doing credit card transactions, because they are enormous. Also, exchanges are charging extortionate rates, and there are loads and loads of new exchanges now which don't charge any fees at all. So have a look, because these costs do add up, especially if you are an active trader. And what we're now finding, a lot of these institutions aren't able to hold on to crypto. This is actually something where they're getting hit themselves. You'll find that a lot of exchange-traded products have a performance fee of 1 or 2%, and also they don't actually get the interest. So just say you had a Bitcoin ETF, you've got a 1-2% fee on that, and also you're missing out on about 7% interest on that as well. So a lot of institutional customers, a lot of people who are looking for the convenience of an exchange-traded product are going to seriously underperform. And you can see here, I've picked up the Grayscale Trust. It's currently trading at a 28% or near 30% discount to Bitcoin. So there's significant tracking errors as well with these things. Finally, and given what AQRU does, this is a topic that's very, very dear to my heart, which is around earning interest on crypto. You should be earning interest on your crypto. If you're not doing crypto right. That's what we passionately believe. So, as you can see, the lending rates you can get on many apps are between 3 and 15%. This is where assets can be lent to institutions. They can be partially or even fully collateralized. And a 7% yield on Bitcoin will double your Bitcoin holding over 10 years. So for the Bitcoin maxis who are holding this forever and never see themselves go back to fiat, you can double your holding in 10 years with 7% interest. So just consider that. I want to dive a little bit deeper into it, how to earn interest on your crypto, because this is something that we get asked a lot. So how do we, and more importantly, how do we do it safely? So decentralized finance, is that a term hopefully many people are familiar with? It is effectively removing the intermediaries from traditional financial processes. So lending and borrowing without the bank would be an example. Effectively what DeFi is doing is it's creating these peer-to-peer networks where transactions are confirmed on the blockchain and all intermediaries are removed. And clearly the benefits of that, it's massively transparent. One of the things we saw in the financial crisis in 2008 was a lot of banks holding a lot of assets, and no one had any idea who was holding what, and that led to trouble when there was the subsequent mortgage crisis. So blockchain and the transparency of that allows a lot of people to be able to see what institutions have actually got on their balance sheet, who they're lending to, who they're borrowing from. And we've seen explosive growth in the world of DeFi. So 16x in the last 12 months alone, and it doesn't seem to be slowing down despite the current market downturn. So how do you generate interest on crypto? It's very similar to what you would do in the traditional world of finance. So I've used here as the standard stock lending model. So let's say you buy an index tracker, an S&P 500 tracker. The fund manager who runs that tracker would own all of the stocks. And depending on their permissions, they might lend those stocks to institutions, to hedge funds, looking to short, looking to leverage, that sort of thing. And in return, that hedge fund or that institution would pay the fund manager a couple of percentage points, and that boosts the return of the fund. Crypto's no different. That it's the same models stolen from traditional finance that we're doing in crypto as well. So as you can see, we've got individuals, they're putting Bitcoin, Ethereum, and stablecoin on platforms like AQRU, and in turn they're being lent either directly to institutions for the same reasons, as in they want to short or they want to leverage their positions, or, and this is a crucial difference, the assets are being placed on DeFi platforms and marketplaces where these same institutions are also transacting. This is the kind of flow of funds model from just a straight institutional lending model. Crypto goes to the institution, interest comes back, and when the loan is over, the crypto comes back alongside the interest. What we like as a business, and what increasingly more people are doing, is using DeFi protocols. And there is a crucial reason why people are doing that, as opposed to just lending directly to an institution. So as you can see here, the same interest is coming back, but on top of it, you are also receiving crypto tokens. So this actually is a big driver of skewing the risk-reward ratio of a lot of these sorts of transactions. And I'll dive into the detail now. Many people are familiar with, they're kind of the OG of crypto lending and borrowing. just under 6 billion worth of assets on certain exchanges, and incredibly successful. If we look here, this is an example of what you can do with USDT. So currently, you could lend USDT to Aave and receive 3.78%. Now, crucially, it's the number below as well, which is kind of the kicker. You're getting that interest rate, but you are also receiving a token on top. So this is what that same transaction looks like. So you're giving them USDT, and you're receiving back interest in USDT, but also, crucially, Matic tokens in this example as well. So for what is essentially a very similar risk profile to a direct lending model, you're getting effectively doubling the yield that you're receiving for no additional risk. So this is why it's extremely attractive. Now, as an institution, what AQRU will do is take those Matic tokens, which many of our investors don't want to hold, turn them back into USDT, compounding it, and just repeat the process. Now, one thing it's worth saying is we pay 12% on stablecoin, and as you can see, that transaction, you're only earning about 8%. And there is a reason for that. There's about 10,000 different places that you can currently go to earn yield on your crypto. And they are all competing for your business. They all want your money. They all want you to use them. So really the job that you've got, and it is a full-time job, is to look for the best opportunities that are available in that entire universe of protocols. And you can set up systems and screens to be able to look for specific characteristics with each one of those protocols to find the most attractive opportunities. And what I'd encourage you to do, as I said at the start with hacking, is to make sure that if you are looking at these protocols, that you are looking at their audit history, how many assets they've got under management, what does the team look like, are there any kind of liquidity or lock-in constraints. And then what you do is build really a diversified portfolio of those best opportunities and look to just optimize over time. Or you let us do it for you. That's the idea. So AQRU has been around, and our team has been doing this for pretty much as long as decentralized finance has been a thing. So the team, run by Dr. Philip Kalahoff, he runs a hedge fund called Protos Asset Management, where he's been generating somewhere in the region of 2 to 3% per year for the last 3 years. 2 to 3% per month from these lending strategies over the last 3 years for his hedge fund. And all we've done is turn that into a really, really easy to consume app that we then put out on the App Store and Android and all those sorts of things. But it's crucial that if you're going to do this, that you are monitoring it, that it is a full-time job, so you've got to make sure that a lot of the protocols that you're investing in can be good one day and not good the next. So you've got to stay on top of it. So if you are going to do it yourself, chat to me afterwards. I'll tell you how we're doing it in more detail if you'd like. So this is what the app looks like. We're currently paying 12% on stablecoins, 7% on Bitcoin and Ethereum. And it's daily liquidity, so you can very quickly and easily put money in and take money out. We're adding more and more fiat currencies as well. Currently we have GBP and euros, but adding Swiss franc, CAD, dollars, and several more. Really trying to make it as accessible as possible for everyday people to be able just to very easily put their crypto on a platform and earn the very highest yields you can currently get out of DeFi. So the whole idea of this is how do we take all of that complexity in that process I've just mentioned around screening DeFi protocols and claiming the rewards, and just abstract all of that complexity away and just put it into a point-and-click solution via an app. And hopefully that's what AQRU does. So going back to those 3 things that a lot of people, I think, don't do correctly in crypto. AQRU has we use industry leader Fireblocks. We insure our wallets for up to $30 million to really try and make sure the customer is protected as much as they can be. Fees. If you buy crypto on our platform and you deposit fiat or deposit crypto and exchange it, there are no fees. And that's something, whether you use us or use another platform, I'd encourage you to look around. There are several other exchanges who do not charge fees. So if you're paying fees on your crypto, you're also not doing it right. So please do check that. And then finally, we pay you interest on balances held on the account. So up to 12% is what you can receive on your stable coins, 7% on Bitcoin and Ethereum, and it really is as easy as just depositing, and you can take it out whenever you wish. I've got a couple of minutes left, but that was all I really want to discuss here, so I'd love to hear any questions you might have, or I'll get off the stage, one or two. It is not so. We are not decentralized. We have built a DeFi protocol, which we've launched. It's called AQRU Defi. You can find it, but it does very similar to what we do. But one of the interesting things is building smart contracts to generate yield in an automated way currently underperforms what you're able to do via a CeFi exchange. So if you think about how you build a investment solution, which is where you're effectively building a diversified portfolio across multiple chains, it's very, very difficult to do that via smart contracts, but our investment team can do it via the CeFi app. So we have a DeFi protocol, it'll have its own token, but at the moment the base yield is about 5% on stable coins, because a lot of people are sitting in stable coins given market conditions. Any other questions? You've been a great audience. Thank you very much. Take care.